Good morning, you bad, beautiful bitch. You. It is Wednesday morning. Absolute treat for you. You might know her as the CEO of Working From Home. Hello. Corporate Natalie sits down, chops it up on life, business, where she's going, where she's at, what's on her mind. Sit back and relax, prepare to be dazzled. This is the No Limits Podcast. We can't thank you enough for coming on here. I have been following your stuff. Did you explode during the pandemic? Is that where
explode it's a kind word. I guess, yeah, that's sort of when it took off.
Went nuclear, I believe, is a synonym for explode.
Yes,
If I'm
absolutely.
not mistaken. Yes.
When did you start? When did you start doing content?
I was like the same. So we used to do pre-COVID. We did a podcast out of the blue, like no thought process behind it. We did a live show every other Friday night at a bar in Boston, which was nice. Picture when you go to like a quinceañera and someone's got a microphone plugged into a little stereo and like you can barely hear it. Like that was us. We were like talking over people who were just like casually drinking at a bar. You know, it was so that was pre-COVID. None of it even made it on the internet, I don't think. I think there's like very few clips of that.
You've always had that bug to entertain, right?
I was like the weatherman in high school, you know? So I'd have like a green screen. I'd be like, oh, today and it'd be on while you're in advisory, it'd be on for the 15 minutes while you're in there, you know? So I've always loved media, you know?
That's interesting. Yeah. I always loved entertaining, doing comedy, like a little bit of comedy in high school. I was pissed I didn't get class clown. But I feel like I never knew about like Instagram or like social media. That was never felt like that was my calling. It just felt like that kind of happened
100%.
During COVID, probably. Yeah.
Is that when you started? Like when were you actively like, oh, okay, I'm going to post this on Reels, TikToks, Snap, the whole nine? Like when did you know it was like?
I think just sheer boredom. I think it was, and like and feeling like I saw other people do it and sort of this, like I could try, posting and having the confidence. I think like being in the comedy space, you just have like this innate confidence to be like, I don't really care if it fails. You fail all the time. Whatever, like I'm used to a joke not landing. So let's try it. And if it goes somewhere, awesome. If not, whatever. And I think that like decision is something that I tell everyone who's like, I want to post to get ready. And I want to, there's so much fear. It's like, just post and you never know where it goes. But yeah, it started as that.
You're such a natural though at it. Like even like of the jokes that like don't land, they're fucking hilarious. This is an R-rated show that my mother will watch, so feel free to just cuss away. You know what I mean? Neither here nor there.
Oh, absolutely. That's good for the brand. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're hilarious. You can almost. They're just like. I first saw you on Instagram Reels is where I like first caught up with you. And then it was like at the time and still is, but so relatable, right? Because we're all like in our apartments, like hanging out on Zoom. Totally. And your comedic style is just like, there's like very few people I feel like I come across who when they're either like trying too much to be funny or like situationally funny. And you're just like, the most well-rounded, in my opinion, the most well-rounded, like your future in my brain as like a stand-up comic is right there. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're too sweet. I think I don't hate myself enough to do stand-up. That's my biggest qualm with it. I'm like, I need to stand up there and be like, I'm a slut and I hate myself and I'm fat and I just don't have anything to do. I just feel like I love myself.
Right.
But maybe stand up. I think maybe like writing a show and acting something that I like sort of curate would be more the route. But
maybe a little SNL style. Hello.
Love skits. I love a good skit.
What's your like creative process? Like when you're in your room, which I love, my brain right now is like firing on all cylinders because to see your videos and then to be on Zoom with you in your room is like full circle moment. I was like,
You're here with me.
I feel,
thank God we did it virtually. This is way better.
If you were in studio, I'd be like, wow, this is crazy. Oh my God.
Just unfamiliar. The creative process for me is I literally will experience something or think of something on the fly. I don't know if you have like the notes page of just like ideas constantly rolling, but I feel like I'm clinically insane. And I constantly have content ideas just running through me wherever I am in any setting. Like I'm at the Taylor Swift concert, like maybe Natalie, just enjoy it. You don't have to film. No, of course I'm going to make a video of the control end of the Taylor Swift concert. Like that's too funny right now. It needs to happen.
100%.
So I think the process is more, I'm trying to be more like, oh, I'm going to Taylor Swift. Let's think through some stuff. And let's like, Mom, can you hold my phone and film me do this? And please don't zoom. Please don't put me in portrait mode.
She's filming herself. Like, camera's like on her. You're like, damn it, Mom.
I'm not even in it. Right. Yeah. So I think the creative process is still very, it's not that planned out. Is yours like very like, let's whiteboard it in the beginning of the week?
No, I'm the same as you. It's like I have the notes page, like heavy on the notes page, but then what I'm finding is like the notes page it gets buried with ideas. And when I'm like, I have to post something today, it's like I'll just think of something like in a couple of minutes, you know, like very rarely, unless it's like we're not in studio here, it's like a rainy day out or something, and I'm like happen to open up the notes page again. I'm like, oh yeah. Also, I am like damn near illiterate. So when I go back and read my notes, it's like the duck swam on the lake. And I'm like,
that edible really was working.
Wow. Part of it, I wish I paid more attention in high school. There's a, like during Aristotle times, there was some guy who would write and he would write it in reverse. That way he could only read it when there was a mirror behind him.
Wow. That's kind of coming back to me. I also am totally, I don't retain any information prior to the lunch I ate today. So wow,
And so I'm like, maybe that's me. Maybe my dyslexia, you know, abbreviations that don't make sense. Maybe that is I
have dyslexia too. I think every funny person has some learning disability.
100%. Right? Yes.
You know, you gotta have that in the brain.
Nothing more scary than in like the middle school days, you get like pulled out of class to take the test.
Popcorn Kevin. Read it aloud.
Actively sweating right now. Just
no, I
can't. They should really make that illegal in most states. Popcorn reading should be criminal.
It should be. And then in college, when I found out I was dyslexic, I literally so embarrassingly went up to my professors and was like, I have a learning disability and I cannot be called on in that way. Also, I'm not going to do the reading. So that's the flip side of it. So don't call them for that reason, but I'm going to do this.
Oh my God. I give you props for even saying that to the professor. I would hide. I would try to like,
totally. Well, and then, I just wouldn't show up. Like if it happened, I'd walk out and no.
Yeah, that is I'm getting like war flashbacks. You know?
It's
God. Yeah. When did you in your content days, like early days, did you know, okay, this is like a potentially viable business option for me? Or were you like, I'm just having fun with it. We'll see where it goes.
Totally. So I think while I'm very like carefree on the comedy side, like would love to just make people laugh, I think I quickly realized that it was a business and it becomes that way quicker than I'm sure you experience. Like you get brand deals when you have 10,000 followers. You're like, what's going on? I'm working this day job and someone wants to pay me to make a video that like actually fills me with joy. Absolutely. That sounds amazing. Like how much can I lean into this?
Right.
And so you find out pretty quickly, which I think you can speak to as well. And then just keeping it and sustaining it and looking at it from a business lens of how can we grow. And it still amazes me that I'm still relevant, that people give a shit, that now I can speak at like companies and try to bring together HR departments and social media and like do things that, you know, I started in my bedroom as a complete risk. And now it's the, you know, multi-pillar business. That's just crazy to me.
Yes. It's the most mind-blowing thing. I don't know about for you. Once I could get my parents on board that like, this isn't like me just like, you know, kind of saying some outlandish stuff on the internet, and this is like a viable. Then I was like, oh, okay, this is if mom and dad have to buy in here. This is mind you, I'm 28. You know, can make my own decisions, right? But it helps to have Jim and Jan on your side. You know,
Jim and Kim for me. Yeah, when I sat them down to dinner, I'm like, guys, my treat. They're like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were making videos on Instagram.
right. Yeah, 100%. And then the best, I don't know if this ever happened for you. I'm sure it has. Like a year ago, I was working at this tech company in Boston, and they caught on to the videos I was doing, and I was like petrified because my worlds were now like colliding. My like outside of work was mixing. But then they were fully bought in. Like the marketing department's like, hey, we would.
Same with me.
You should make some, maybe you go to help out with recruiting here, huh? Make some videos for the internet. I'm like, okay, you guys are cool with that. Yeah.
And it's probably, I was at a tech company too at the time. I wasn't at my like first kind of like consulting job. And I think tech is more like, yeah, let's take a risk. Let's try it. Awesome. And I totally had the same thing. They pulled me into the marketing department. I got a raise. I got a promotion.
Oh, here we go. Wow.
It just was incredible. And then I still quit after that, which is so sad. But I was like, thank you for acknowledging this.
Yes. 100%. I fucking love that. What do you like? I'm always curious the pivot from, do you think you'll get into the product space, like product or service? Like we're kind of in the service space now with like when the brand meets the influencer. Like, do you see yourself ever going down the road of, hey, I might come out with XYZ product, or maybe I could see you in some like techie software,
just some like B2B.
It's something crazy. Calendly just reformed,
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I mean, I think I've tried like merch. I don't know if you sell merch. Like, I think people think that creators and influencers make a ton of money on merch, and that's like not the case at all. Like merch is just a fun addition to the business.
100%.
And it's like an investment more so of your time. There are merch companies that can run in the background, whatever, but it's not like really a money maker. Not that matters, but when I think about like leaving this like following and influence that I have on these two platforms to try to build something outside of it, it would have to obviously like be very connected. Like, is it a workspace for people? But then also, do I want to take the time away from making these videos, making people laugh, doing what's working to like really build something? And I'm in a position right now where it's hard to think about stepping away because I think corporate could be totally irrelevant in 5 years. So why wouldn't I ride them? And when I'm irrelevant, turn to that sort of thing. But,
you have such a good headspace on that, because I'll talk to people that are like, that don't think like this is obviously a amazing wave, and we're all riding it. But like, to your point, yes, like this, I talked to some people that are like fairly oblivious of like this wave, and they're like, they'll be at a spot where like kind of you and I are at like now, but when you talk to them, they talk as if they're like Jay-Z and Beyonce, like
totally. And that's the hilarious, we can dive into that of like, this influencer role did not exist like 5 years ago.
Right.
Like you go to these like influencer parties and people think they are literally Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry, you do not need someone following around doing your hair and makeup. Like you see Jennifer Coolidge on the carpet here. She doesn't have any of that. She's just walking her own ass down the carpet. Like it's not that serious.
Oh my God. Yes. Finally. We need like a bomb drop after like some deep thoughts from that. Yeah,
it's probably because we're not in LA. We're Boston and San Francisco.
Yes.
Maybe that's why we have a little bit of the real world around us to see that.
I think you're spot on.
And a lot of creators, I don't want to sound like I'm, they're amazing people doing incredible things
100%.
And who deserve everything that they get. But it's just like the ability to know that the wave will crash is just, you need to know that.
Yes, 100%. What are you seeing out in the marketplace? Like, I'm always curious, creators like yourself, like all of our For You pages are so different, and we're feeding our brains constantly with different material from like whoever your mentors are or who you listen to maybe on like a podcast level day to day. But what are you like seeing in the world? Are you like Threads is taking over? Are they going to ban TikTok? Like, what are you seeing out there in the marketplace of social?
It's interesting. I think you're seeing a lot more. I think every company is considering getting an in-house organic social team to build their own brand on socials. I think that's kind of a new thing. And they're looking to creators to maybe come in-house to do that. I think that would be like a fallback for me when we think of, if the career ends at some point, could I go make content for a large brand on their channels and put that up? I think Threads is awesome. I think it might be a little bit of a phase, but I think it was cool to hop on and get 50,000 followers in a day. Like, awesome. Let's see how far we can push that.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a lot of creators like speaking and doing these things and diversifying a little bit, which is important. I think you teaching people who like who have been in the, sales department for 50 years and don't understand like that this is a helpful marketing strategy. Is kind of cool to see out there, but 100%. I don't know. I think there's a lot of different, sometimes my For You page will be weird with like the actual content I'm being served up. Yes. I don't know. Feeling like it's different every day.
Yes. You speak so well, by the way. Like you are, wow. I could like, we just went in my mind, we just went in the boardroom. You were presenting. I was like, yes, you're right.
Friends.
The S&P 5000. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I know some of these words. Like so articulate. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get into corporate Natalie's mentals, let's start on a more, not negative, but what's like your biggest fear right now? And that could be content related. That could be like life, wherever you want to take that.
So it's interesting that you said you view me as articulate. I appreciate that. I think that's like core to my identity. I think my biggest fear is being viewed as unintelligent or like the things I'm doing or the business I've built is like something's wrong with it.
Yeah.
I view I think, so my fear is failure in the sense of not like I had a video flop, who cares, but more of like people view my brand, like people don't respect the brand I've built.
Right.
I think I don't have an agent or a manager. I do it all myself. I've hired someone full-time in-house to sort of run all the brand deals, do things
nice.
on a salary working for me instead of like giving someone 10% of all the deals.
Right.
So it's just, I speak very openly about like, you can do this on your own. It's like, if you have business wherewithal, you can do this. And so having that come into question would be scary for me.
Yeah.
I think we all fear like cancellation to some degree. It was sort of that. I don't know what's your biggest fear?
I'm in a similar boat. Like I don't know who this is quote is by, and I will for sure butcher the actual like language of this, but it's like, it was a comedian, and it's like, I have a similar fear where it's like, you're making all these jokes online and I want to come off as funny, but I don't want to be taken as a joke, like when you get into certain rooms, it's like easy to be like, oh, that's like the haha guy.
Yeah. It'll be like fans or people at bars, and it's like, I feel like I need to turn it on, and I need to have times in my life I don't need to turn it on. Right. And that's to me.
Are you always like a stone's throw away from blue light glasses? Are you always like well,
I'm like when I'm recognized.
Yeah, like are you like at a moment's notice? Like I feel like if we were in Natalie's desk right now, your blue light glasses are somewhere near, I believe.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
absolutely. Blue light glasses are close.
Yes,
I think I'm always ready to get into character, and it's also weird being recognized at a bar when I'm drunk with my friends.
Right.
And I'm corporate Natalie. Like it's not, the brands do not align when I'm 26 years old at a bar with my friends.
Yes.
And they're, asking where I work. It's like
draining tequila shots.
Yeah.
You're like, what's sorry. Work?
Yeah. I need to barf. That tequila shot did not hit right. I'll come right back.
That is such a good point. I didn't even realize that. Like the crossover of like, oh, okay, I'm this like funny corporate professional on the internet, but like can also go out and have a good time. I didn't even realize that is
And I've been like too drunk in public settings that I probably that should not be. So that's
when you get intoxicated, do you go immediately to like your like workplace humor, like, oh, thank God we're next week? Am I?
No, that would be great. That would be safe.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I'm just like a bumbling idiot with my girlfriend stripping shots. Like there's no corporate. I forget who corporate Natalie is. That's probably how drunk I am. Like she's nowhere. She's dead.
I love that. Is corporate Natalie like how do you look at that? Is that like, is it a character? Is it like, that's loosely who you are naturally? Is it like a alter ego? Like I'm always fascinated by people's like kind of social media persona and then kind of their day-to-day.
Definitely. I think it started as like a character. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't definitely a part of who I am.
Yeah.
But it's a very narrow lens. Like there are these other areas of me that I really intentionally don't put on social media. I don't give my last name. I don't like share where I live and all these like kind of personal, more lifestyle creator things. And so that's like an intentional choice to keep the character sort of safe. Like to me, I view that as a safe choice of if I want to step away and real Natalie wants to get out of this. Like how does an influencer retire? Like I think about this, like where do you go? The videos live on. Where do you go? People are expecting taking from you every single day.
Right.
That's their therapy. You can't just go away.
Right.
Some YouTubers have done it. We haven't seen our generation of creators be done with it.
Wow. That is a great point. I didn't even think of that. I feel like in this landscape, we move like so fast. You're right. You don't even think of like, you're always subconscious, like what's the longevity, but you've never, you've never seen like the.
If you're going to be 85 and you'd be like, babe, say this in a Boston accent. And she's going to be like, I don't want to do this shit anymore.
You just hear the machine go, dies trying to say a Boston accent. Like, damn it. I could have went viral. Let me grab that. That could have gone.
Yeah, wait,
that could have really went. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Do it again. Oh, it's so true. Could you? Is there a point in your life or like an age where you're like in my head, I'm like, oof. So I'm 28. When I'm 38, and that's 10 years from now, but like when I'm 38, and who knows, like I might look at this 10 years from now and be like, oh, what an idiot. Like I'm going to do this till I'm 48. But I don't know if at 38, I want to be up there being like, swipe up, 20% off, use my promo code, bloop, 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 you know?
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think 38 is a good, I say 40.
Yeah.
And I think also with like, I don't know if you have a stance on this publicly when and if you guys have kids, but do you want the kids online? Like, is that, I think for me, I'm very like, I'm very personal about like my relationship, dating, everything, even like, I don't think that's in the cards for me. So does it just end? Will I be like pregnant doing these Zoom bits, not addressing that I have like a kid?
Everyone's like, what is that? What's happening?
What's happening below the desk there? Yeah.
Right. Constantly at a standing desk. You're like, absolutely nothing. Life is totally normal. Nothing's changed.
I'm totally fine. Yeah.
What's up with you? This is crazy.
Why are you even asking?
Whoa. Oh my God. Jeez.
But have you talked, do you know your stance on that?
Yeah, I think it's funny. So like Ashley, my fiance, was like coming into this, like hated the camera, like did not like anything. We've been together 3 years. So like year one, she was like, you do. And at the time I had like nothing. I had like no following, no anything. And she was like, you keep doing whatever this is. She's like, I'm going to go to work, you know, like a normal person. And, but then she slowly, I think naturally, like whoever you're with, you almost become like each other. Like you take values from each other and like morph into one. And, over time she was like, oh wait, maybe I will start posting my own, you know, content. And then slowly she was like, oh wait, maybe life doesn't have to be so private. So now, oddly enough, if you ask her, she's like, oh, as soon as we're having a baby, like that kid is going to be the face of my,
vlog.
Yeah. And now I'm there as well. If this was brought up like even 8 months ago, I'd probably be like, ooh, maybe we wait till they're like 2 or 3 till like, you know, but we're like so open about our day-to-day life anyway that, I think, but who knows, like it might change.
So weird not including,
Yeah. Like we really just document like what's actually happened. Like that accent, I wish when I first met her and I brought her home to my parents, I warned Jim and Jan, I was like, hear me out. She's going to talk and you're going to be like, whoa, what's happening? I'm going to need no one to make a face. Okay. You just remain eye contact, you know? We don't slow down the conversation. If you didn't understand, I'll text you on the side.
Go back. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's so funny. I have seen her, I feel like, get in, obviously, in the content more. You're such a unit. Do you think content, me interviewing you now, do you think
I love this.
helps or hurts your relationship? Like, do you think it's like we're building something together? Or does it ever get like, we need to put the phones down? This is like a struggle.
Yeah, it's definitely, I see it as both. And I see it on the consumer side too. Like, people will make a judgment and they're only seeing like 10% of who we actually are. Like what they're seeing through their viewfinder on their phone is like a fraction of who we actually are as like people.
Totally. And it's most of the time.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly. Like none of it's
like
real.
This is us like pretending to fight.
Exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. And we've done some videos that are like, obviously like it's a joke, but you know how like a video will kind of move numbers wise and it'll get put, I view it as like pockets of the internet it'll go and it'll be like all your supporters and fans are like, woo. And then it keeps climbing and then it goes the other way and it's in this different pocket that's like
scary pocket.
Oh, yeah. Clowns. How
really dark.
What a bunch of losers. Yeah, like so but I always say like people are making those assumptions when if they actually were to meet us, they'd be like, oh, like they're totally normal people, like very friendly. But to answer your question, like I think I honestly think it's both. Like we do have times where we're like, all right, phones down, like let's do a date. We've done date nights before where we leave the phones in the apartment. Like we go out with no phones. Because our screen time is like ridiculous. It's just like,
of course.
You know? But then it is cool to like, I'm a big believer too of like, I don't know if there's a real thing called like work-life balance, but I do believe in work-life integration, meaning like anything I'm doing, I try to pull her in and get her involved as much as possible. And then consequently, like as she's been growing on the internet, the same is happening, whether it's like events based or, you know, totally. Even on like a brand side, like, hey, like, do you want to help with this video? Like, do you want to be in it? Like, so now yeah, exactly.
That's so interesting. Work-life integration. I love that.
Work-life integration, you know?
Yeah. That would. I wonder how Hinge guys in SF would feel about that.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like we just want to like a whiteboard. We're like, okay, here's what's happening this quarter, and you know there's work-life balance over here, but what the big picture?
Flip the inverse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What's your biggest motivator doing all this? Like, do you do it for someone? Do you do it for yourself because you love it? Like, is there maybe it's, you know, whoever, you know, that person you brought internally that's on salary, like, are you now like, oh yeah, I do this like because this is their job now? Like, what motivates you to do these videos?
I think I've always wanted to build a business on my own. I think I didn't have respect for influencers and creators before I started this. I was like, you dance on TikTok. Right. That's so like, that's lame. I didn't understand that this is like such a respectable space to be in, and it's hard work. It's like impressive what creators do. So I think like my life goal is success. I think my life goal is to look back and be like, I did something really impactful and cool with my life. Right. I think everyone has their biggest fear is like dying and seeing the person you could have been. Like, I think all creators doing a really good job of like doing the best you can, showing these sides of your life, like really trying and posting yourself to millions of people is such a risk. And I think I'm heading towards there, just feeling successful, being able to potentially step away at 40 would be amazing. And just live life and run a business and do that with more behind the scenes would be really cool. But I don't know. I think success is the goal.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I wanted to end this with you with a little rap. There's one I'm going to skip because maybe you'll know this. I don't even know the abbreviation for it, so I'm going to skip it. I don't know. I know the abbreviation. I'm not sure what it means, so maybe we'll dive into that after. But we'll do a rapid fire. I'm going to say a corporate abbreviation, and you just give us what it means. And these are like,
oh my gosh.
You're going to cry. These are all ones you know. Because if there's one on there that I put in like that email to you that like I was like, it's CAC. And I was like, maybe we skip CAC. Because even I'm like,
okay.
Cost of. So we'll rapid fire. I'll say the abbreviation. You give us the long form, what it actually means. It'll be a volley for serve.
Do people give a shit about this? Yeah. Why are we doing this? Okay.
You're gonna love it. It's like a fun game show, you know?
Everyone's like, okay, yeah, log off now. Everyone stop listening. Podcast. Thank you. Corporate Natalie, follow me.
That would be a hilarious exit if you're like, yeah, no, this sounds great. Absolutely. So anyway, it's been so much fun. You just start awesome. Exactly. Oh my God, you're going to crush this. All right. Okay. Rapid fire. Don't even think about it. OOO.
Out of office.
PTO.
Paid time off.
ROE.
ROE.
ROI. Listen to me. See?
I'm sorry.
This has been such a pleasure. We'll have to do this again sometime. So much fun. I'm wearing shorts, by the way. So much fun.
You're like, I'm going to give you a brief ROE. ROI would be return on investment.
Bang! There it is. Woo! Last one. This is one I started using recently, by the way, on like brand zooms to sound really smart. LTV. Listen to me stutter as these abbreviations come out. LTV. This one's a little tricky.
Like lifetime value.
There it is. Woo!
Okay. Do you use that in talking about yourself?
No,
like,
I'll do like,
working with me.
If you're going to acquire customers, you got to think about the LTV. Am I right, gang? I mean, this is, come on.
Textbook LTV.
Yeah, textbook, something you got to think about. So,
oh my God,
you crushed Corporate Natalie, and I cannot thank you enough for your time. You're the best in the business. I can see you in an SNL environment. I can see you doing a pod with Rod. Hello.
We'll see.
Hello. Like your future's looking very bright out there on the West Coast.
So
okay.
I feel the exact same about you. I can't wait to see all your little Boston kids in the content too.
Oh man, those little rascals.
Wedding content. Are you gonna vlog the whole wedding?
I know. We decided against that. It was an actual thought. We were like, oh, we could live stream the whole thing, and I'm like, maybe we don't. That's a little ridiculous.
Let's take a day for ourselves.
We'll take a day.
Yeah, we'll take a day off.
It'll be fun. It'll be fine. No one panic. All right. God.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for having me. This was amazing. Great combo. Keep crushing it.
Yes, you too. And thank you so much for taking the time for this. This was awesome.